Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and we are the scouting staff for this season's Hula Bowl. Today, this interview is sponsored by Malki Law Firm, who specialize in automotive accidents, having offices in St. Petersburg and Tampa Bay, servicing throughout Florida. Contact them today for a free consultation at 877 The Firm or on their website at thecaraccidentfirm.com. Today I have with me Deane Leonard. He's a cornerback out of Ole Miss. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Hey, nice to have you on. I mean, realize uh, obviously you came down, from Canada there in Calgary. Ended up, being a great defensive back there in the SEC for Ole Miss. So, why don't you kind of talk me through your journey a little bit, if you don't mind? Give me like a brief background of you and your history. So, go for it.
Are you talking about just the transport, just from the very beginning, just whole life story?
Uh,
Go for it.
Start from high school, man. Tell me where you're from.
I went to Notre Dame High School in Calgary under Dave Deluzio, legendary coach out there. If you're around there, everyone knows him. Um, and yeah, just after high school, didn't really get any NCAA attention from there, so I just went the youth sports route and chose to stay home at the University of Calgary. And played a great 3 years there. Got to win the Vanier Cup and everything. It was some of the most memorable years of football I've had. And when COVID hit, actually the youth sports season got canceled around the entire country. So we started looking at our options, either just going down south and just ended up picking Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, and just kind of backtracking a little bit, I mean, I realized that you were named first team All Canada at least two times, right?
Yeah,
So really one of the better players, really the other side of the border. So kind of nice to have you come down here and join the NCAA. Are really excited actually to have you come down to the Hula Bowl. We extended an invite to you, so it's going to be great. Having not only one of the best. Canadian prospects at our event, but also an SEC corner who's got a lot to offer. So let's talk about that just a little bit, if you don't mind. I mean, um, let me read to you something that one of our scouts had to say about you. So uh, bear with me for just a minute. So smooth athlete, moves well with good foot quickness and back pedal, sufficient in press man-to-man coverage. Does a good job within the first 5 yards, maintaining leverage and using his length to reroute receivers. Also shows good physicality and tackling ability in the run game. So obvious guy who's very big, physical. Gosh, he had about 6'1", 190. So
yeah.
tell me a little bit about how you view yourself as an NFL prospect.
First, I want to start with the physicality part. I love hearing that. Um, that was something that coming from Canada to SEC was like the biggest difference. Like shedding blocks, having to hit running backs that size is at first like I've never really faced anything like that. And then you kind of hop in the SEC and you got to adapt that quick. And that's something I'm probably most proud of is being able to elevate my physicality just within this short amount of time. Yeah, the rest of it, I think I'm just a smooth athlete, good hips and everything. I think that is when I'm on the field, it's natural for me to have that.
So is there anything else about like the difference in the game there? I mean, obviously, Canadian ball is slightly different with rules and what have you, but I mean, was there anything else maybe that, was a big difference between you coming down and playing in the SEC?
Yeah, there was a lot. First, like the motions are different, formations and I had to kind of like rewrite football in my head. I had to relearn it, all the different formations and what to expect, route combinations, all that kind of stuff was for the first bit, like I always use instincts and kind of like knowing what's going to come next when I was playing in Canada. And when I went to America, it was completely different because everything was so foreign to me. And also never played press in my life until I got to America. So that was a big something I had to get used to. And but yeah, it's been a good transition. It's been a great learning experience overall.
Yeah, I mean, and so far you're doing a pretty good job of it. Where were you last season? Did you? I mean, I think you started like every game this season, didn't you?
Yeah. Last season I wasn't starting. I was just a role player at that time.
Yeah, that was in 2020, but I'm just saying this
Yeah,
past season in
yeah,
2021.
yeah. He'll start every game.
So were you starting at all of those games at like outside corner?
Yeah. Oh, and later on in the season, I started moving in for nickel too in certain packages. So this kind of showed my versatility when I was out there playing nickel.
Nice. So, I mean, obviously a guy that we can maybe move around a little bit, but be
Mm.
quite honest with you, with your size, I kind of like you on the outside. I mean, I think that that's kind of where you fit very well. I mean, and maybe even being a little bit of safety. I mean, I don't want to necessarily put you back there from the start, but I obviously want to give you the opportunity to go out there and showcase your talent there as a corner. So.
Yeah.
Um, are there some players perhaps that you look at in order to maybe better your game? I mean, maybe some players in the NFL that you study?
Stephon Gilmore, I like a lot just because just through the way he plays, you could see his understanding of the game, how his leverage helps him, how he uses everyone around him to elevate his own play, and his technique is great, and that's something that I want to get better at as well.
Great. So I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously Stephon Gilmore, one of the best in the league. So definitely a good guy to maybe study a little bit, maybe model your game after. So.
Yeah.
Um, All right, so again, we've kind of already established fact that you have this guy who was actually drafted in the CFL this past spring by the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So I mean, obviously you have that potentially in your future, but I mean, coming to our event, we are actually going to be having scouts from the NFL, the CFL, the XFL, the USFL. So a whole lot of exposure for a player like you to come to our event. So you'll get a chance to really meet a whole lot of different NFL guys really. So, but I kind of want to talk to you a little bit, just kind of about that daily grind. Like you have to, prepare yourself for your opponents. Walk me through that a little bit. Maybe let's just start there, like in the film room. When you're breaking down film, how has that helped you become a better player on the field?
I think just understanding concepts, really it's a copycat league everywhere you go. If you can understand, okay, they're gonna condense, they're gonna take cross country routes, deep shots, understand Max Pro, that kind of stuff. That's the biggest thing for me is just understanding concepts, and especially like when we just played in the Sugar Bowl, there was a play, we went through it in practice. There was a certain concept that we had to see. I was able to jump it. Didn't get the pick six, but was close to it. But it's just understanding concepts and what they're trying to do to you is what I look for in the film room. And my coaches do a great job of, Terrell Buckley, D Boy should do a great job showing us.
Great. Also, a guy who's got to get in the weight room, do his business there as well. So, walk me through maybe how you approach the weight room, and maybe even like your favorite lift.
Um, well, the weight room is just you gotta get your work in. It's really easy to try to avoid the weight room during the season. You're gonna end up being weaker towards the end, so you gotta stay in there, stay strong all season. All season work is mandatory as well. Um, my favorite lift, uh, is probably the bench press right now.
Okay.
Yeah, hit almost. I was really close to 315 in the off season, really close for one, but just missed it. So I guess the max would be like 305.
Hey, well, I mean, it's fine. I mean, certainly something you're working towards, and obviously, if you're passionate about it, I mean, you'll eventually, just continue to, make leaps and bounds and become a better, athlete, at that lift. So,
No,
um,
definitely.
but again, a player who, because of COVID, had the opportunity to come back, really have an even more of a solid season with Mississippi, and do very well this past season. Um, let's just kind of I don't know. Talk to me a little bit about some of your highs and lows. I mean, your best memories really about you playing collegiate football.
Um, well, first off, my best memory is winning the Vanier Cup at the University of Calgary. I don't feel like a lot of people expect that because it's not SEC, it's not the big lights or anything, but just that team atmosphere. And I was just talking to those guys on the phone the other day, and just talking about how close knit that team was. It was really a brotherhood. And when I look back at college football, that's gonna be probably the main thing I look back at. But Ole Miss was great too. A lot of big games playing at Tennessee, Texas A&M, all those games were a lot of fun. In terms of lows, obviously we lost to Auburn and Alabama. Wasn't great. The Auburn game was some game that we should have had. Um, and I think also like moving to Mississippi was tough for me as well. Especially the first year was really tough. Just a big culture shock for someone like me, and just trying to navigate through that as well as playing football was definitely a low.
So, who are some of the players there that you have really, I guess, connected to very, very well there at Ole Miss? I mean, who are some guys there that you kind of want to give a shout out to that have helped you, kind of ease your way into the culture there?
Um, I was an entire corner room. Deontay Prince, the other corner, good friend. Yeah, really all the corners and my coaches, like I said, Terrell Buckley, D Bush, those guys really helped me out.
Awesome. So, I mean, obviously, again, like we've already mentioned, invite you to come to the Hula Bowl. It's going to be really coming up very soon, next week, perhaps actually.
Hmm.
So that's kind of how that's rolling. So very excited to have you down in Orlando. Um, just kind of I don't know, going back into your history a little bit as an athlete. I mean, one of the other parts about you is that you did pretty well in other sports as well. So you kind of want to give me a little bit of insight on that as well.
Yeah, so I played basketball and track in high school. Basketball for me was really just a filler from hockey because my parents always kept me in two sports. So they had me playing hockey when I was really young, and I was like, I need to get off the ice. So started playing basketball a little bit. I didn't take basketball too seriously, but in high school, my coach had a rule that every football player had to run track. So that's how I got into track. And no, I think track really just shows more than anything kind of my work ethic towards sports that I took. Because my 100-meter times weren't great at being in high school, and I didn't really train towards it, didn't really work, and then I really just put my mind to it and went from an 11 something to a 10.68 within a year. Just putting that work ethic in.
Yeah, 10.68 is actually pretty sweet, man. I mean, that's a really awesome number there in the 100 meter. Also in the 200, running about 22 seconds and some change. I mean, obviously that's something great as well. Those things obviously, translate to football because obviously speed is important. I know that there are some people that can maybe take those numbers and maybe figure out perhaps maybe what your 40 is. Do you have any idea these days, like where you are with that number?
I'll tell you, I'm the fastest person on my team for sure, though. I can tell you that. We've done like we haven't done real 40 testing, but we've done like 10-yard splits the first 10, and I'm pretty sure with the numbers I put in that, I'm predicted to get high 4.3.
That's pretty sweet, man. I mean, you have a guy, again with your size running sub 4.4. I mean, those are some excellent numbers. I mean, that's NFL draftable numbers, quite honestly. I mean, when you get a guy like that. So, great thing that you bring to the table in that regard. Have you tested your vert or anything like that, or where are you
Yeah.
actually? Before we get to that, I mean, are you training with somebody right now? Is there a facility or a trainer that you've been working with to better
Uh,
your numbers?
no, I just went back to Oxford. I'm just in my house in Oxford right now, just getting some treatment and stuff. Just waiting to fly out there.
Gotcha. But the other numbers there, do you know where you are with any of them right now, or are you still
Uh,
kind of working towards that?
yeah, a part of our like pre-game, like we do on Fridays, we do like a little circuit to get our muscles ready, blood pumping, everything. We do vertical as well. My best vertical I jumped there was a 39.6.
Hey,
The hundred meter,
it's a
yeah, that
pretty
was
decent number. I mean, obviously, former basketball guy, so obviously that means that you could probably do like some crazy dunk. So
I got a basic two-hander. That's about it.
hey,
I could.
that's good enough for some people. I mean, I could barely touch the net. I'm a short dude, so um, I could definitely appreciate it at the very least. So, hey, obviously we've been at it now for a little bit here. Talk to me just a little bit about I don't know. I mean, obviously, you've had this long journey, coming from Calgary, down to Ole Miss. A lot of people along the way have helped you out as a coach, molded you into the player that you are, person and player, really. Is there maybe one lesson from one of those coaches that still sticks with you today?
Man, there's a lot. I will say one thing that both my DB coach, Marcello Rapini at University of Calgary, and Terrell Buckley at Ole Miss always emphasize to us is kind of like punctuation, being on time, kind of being early to everything that you go to, because um that's really stuck with me because it really shows that you care. Having punctuation lets you know that you mean business. That you know it shows a lot about your character just being on time. So that's something that I'll carry with me forever.
Yeah, I mean punctuation. Obviously, I mean you don't want to be late for meetings or anything like that. So
Yeah.
obviously, I think you were like 10 minutes early. Actually, when
Yeah,
when
that's what
we were getting
I
together
hope.
for this interview. I mean,
Yeah.
hey man, things are busy for me. So I mean, you gotta cut me a little slack because I mean we're
Oh, I
getting
mean,
this
it's
close to our event. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, obviously a guy who's going to be on time for any of the interviews. So you're going to get some interviews down in Orlando. I mean, practicing a little bit about how you're going to talk to these scouts. I mean, have you been interviewed by anybody recently?
not recently. I mean, I just got back to Oxford, so things been kind of slow right now. But I'm confident in my interviews.
Awesome.
Gotta get some answers ready, but you just wing it.
No, I hear you. So far, I think that's kind of what we're doing. So that's
Yeah.
fun. So, hey, let's get a chance to meet Deane Leonard a little bit outside of football, a little bit. Tell me something fun, interesting about yourself, hobbies or what have you. Give us something fun.
So fun about me. I'm really into video games. I'm a big nerd when it comes to that. All computer stuff, all of that. I'm really into.
So what's your game of choice these days?
Right now is Valorant, but I'm almost every time I tell somebody about it, no one knows what it is. So yeah, it is called Valorant though.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea what that is. So,
Yeah.
but that's okay. Anything else about yourself that you wanna share? I mean, let's see. Tell me something about your hometown. If I were to come visit you in your hometown, that being like your hometown in Canada, where would I have to go? I mean, what would I have to do? Because I mean, I haven't been to Canada before. So,
Okay.
tell me about your hometown.
So we'll start. There's things that we would have to do. First off, first matter of things that we'd have to attend to is we have to go to Tim Hortons. That's
Of
kind of
course.
like. Have you heard of Tim Hortons before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So Tim Hortons is number one. You got to get a coffee or muffin or whatever you like. We got to get one of those. Um, my hometown specifically is right outside the mountains, so we would have to. We could go to Canmore, Banff, or something like that. Go spend a day in the mountains. That would be something we'd have to do. Senior's Pizza is a famous pizza spot right next to my house. Like, so I live in the northwest, and the city is up in the northeast, and people drive 45 minutes across the city just to get there. We'd have to get some pizza, and I think just Crescent Walk downtown. That'd be the last one.
Hey, I mean,
Nice
it
view.
sounds like a whole lot of fun. So, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I've heard of Tim Hortons. Obviously there's a good pizza joint in like almost each and every town. So, if that's
yeah,
the one to drive to, so we could certainly check that out as well.
yeah.
So,
This one's different though. It's not like
no,
every other.
I get you. So I'll grant that to you for sure. So hey, I know you've been talking now for a while. Very last question I want to give you really is you know with a lot of scouts coming to our game, a lot of scouts that have maybe watched you, I want to give you the opportunity right now to address those guys and maybe give them a little something. Give them your pitch as to perhaps why they need to take a chance on you, draft you, sign you, and what you would bring to their franchise. So hit them with your pitch.
I think I am. I feel like a lot of players are bills when you get them, but I think I'm a big investment if you were to get me. I work hard, I study the game. I've shown nothing but improvement over the past 2 years. I take this seriously. Punctuation, the guy, no off the field issues, nothing got to worry about. I show up and do my thing, compete, physical, every measurement you want, I have. No, just gotta take a shot and just keep on working.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a guy who can adjust. I mean, the ability to adjust to life in Mississippi, coming down from Calgary, obviously, is a feat in and of itself. But then, of course, to be a defensive back of your size and athletic talent, I mean, your physicality, your ability to run really with the best of them, having a solid 40 and all the other measurable stuff that people always ask for. A lot of stuff you have going for you, man. So really excited to have you at our event and can't wait.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Sure, man. Once again, you'll be able to see Deane Leonard out of Ole Miss at the Hula Bowl January 15th. You can purchase those tickets on Ticketmaster.com. This interview was sponsored by Malki Law Firm. Definitely check them out for a free consultation on their website. A big mahalo and have a blessed day.